everybody. Welcome to the Light Gate on this glorious St. Patty's Day. I hope you all are having a wonderful day and not letting all the green beer get to you already. Okay? We're coming to you live from the beautiful city of New Orleans in Louisiana at the United Public Radio Network at 107.7 FM and the UFO Paranormal Radio Network at 105.3 FM. We are coming to you from Facebook, Roku, Rumble, and YouTube. We have a really interesting show tonight. You notice that the two people in it are already here. And I want to thank our sponsor. Thank you very much, Carnation. I wonder how many of you made green cakes today, shamrock cakes. This would have been good in it. Okay. Well, how's it going?
Are you turning it over to me?
Yeah.
Okay. That was different.
Yeah.
Thanks, Dolly. Hello, everyone. I'm your host, Preston Dennett. My lovely co-host is Dolly Safran, and welcome to episode 099 of The Light Gate. Almost 100 episodes. Hard to believe. Very exciting. We've been going on almost 2 years now. I think, just about. So very cool. Yeah, thanks for joining us. So excited to see many familiar names here. We are doing a Q&A, so I have no rush to get to the guests because basically it's us and, well, you. So maybe I should rush. But so we're just doing a Q&A. Q&As are always fun. It's a little less stressful. We just get to have a fun conversation.
Yes.
You guys are awesome. So bring on as many questions as you want. Any subject, hopefully UFOs and the paranormal-ish, but definitely we're happy to talk about anything. So let's just get started by saying hello to all you folks. It's because of you we do this show. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Hope you're having a good time, not getting too tipsy, but hey, why not? If there's any day of the year to do it, now would be the day. So cheers. And let's see, who do we have here? It looks like we've got a nice crowd already. We have Kaleidoscope Eyes from Knoxville, Tennessee.
Hello.
How about those storms, all those tornadoes? Goodness.
I know. We were up most of the night. It's bad.
That was pretty scary. And prayers for all those who
had damage and lost their lives.
Yeah.
Thinking of your families and you. Yep.
It's quite sad. Okay, we got Brian Morgan. Hells yeah. It's always a great night when it's Light Gate. Very cool.
Cool.
All right. Hi, Olivia. Peak, always first in lines with questions. So I'm starring up those. And we've got quite a number of other people here. Top of the morning and evening to you. Happy St. Patrick's Day, everyone. I'm part Irish, by the way. I think something like 70% of the people in the United States have some Irish blood. So I know it's real high.
Yes, I do too. Yeah.
Jay Kirshenman, all the way from Virginia. We have Teresa Levine. I may have already clicked on you, but if not,
nope.
Hi, namaste. We love you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Always count on you. Don't know what we'd do without you. Probably, I don't know what we would do, Dolly.
I don't know either. Love you. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you from the bottom of our heart and the top and both sides.
Yep.
Hello, Arvo. Big love, Lightgate family.
Aww.
Thank you so much. Oh, Patsy Foyster. Hello.
Hello.
You're doing well. We got Leah. We have Michael Kennedy bringing the popcorn. We have
Kylie for me. All right there.
Hello, Michael. Hope you're doing well. Janie Nashburn with lots of
Oh my goodness.
hearts.
Look at that.
Is.
Hey, Janie.
And even little four-leaf clovers.
Yeah. Sure.
Who else do we got here? We have John P. Adventures. We have Jim with a large hello.
Hello. Large. Hi.
Oh, we have, well, John P. Adventures with all kinds of emojis. Dolly says, much love.
Thank you.
Becky Duncan, yay, the highlight of every Monday. Oh, that's so nice,
Thank you.
Becky. We have Heidi Gold, much love from Boulder, Colorado.
Oh, cool. We've been there.
Yes, it's, in my opinion, the most beautiful state, the Rocky Mountains. I've been in
Yep.
every state except Maine, so I can't talk about Maine. Well, I haven't been to Alaska, so what am I saying? But yeah, all the continuous United States. Contiguous, whatever the word would be. But yeah,
Contiguous.
love Colorado. So beautiful. My sister lives there. Okay, we have Chariz Bazila. Hello.
Hi.
We have Duncel 2025. Here's a nice question from Leah. Thank you. We have Octopus with at least 2 friends because we're here.
Yes, we are.
I love octopi. They're very smart, especially that one that actually crawled out of the tank and started playing with the TV remote control. How crazy is that?
It knew it wanted to see what it wanted to see.
Brenda Whelan, hello.
Hello.
We got Orako Mekri. Happy St. Patty's Day. Good evening.
Yep.
Very cool. We have Andy Two Dogs.
Hi.
Okay. Who else do we got here? We got...
Not yet. I haven't found out about David Adair yet. Working on it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he is, but I don't know.
I still haven't found it yet. Working.
Okay. Oh, some really nice questions here. Thank you. Okay, that's a funny one. That one made me laugh. Okay. Oh, Patsy, you two are 2 of my favorite people. Oh, such an honor. Big hugs to you. Thank you. Okay. Here we got Runmick. Oh, aloha. Happy
Aloha.
Leah. Aw.
Hi, Leah. Thank you.
We really, 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 really appreciate it.
I used to live in Chicago. I lived in Des Plaines and I lived in Arlington Heights. Yep.
Thank you, Heidi. That's very kind of you. We have Samantha Shaw.
Hello.
We've got a nice little crowd here.
Yeah.
We got Maya Shanti. We got Sly Martins all the way from Portugal. I just covered a Portuguese case.
Portuguese, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Or a case from Portugal. I don't know if I would call. All right. We better get going here pretty soon. Let's see. We got, oh, wow. Hello from Kodiak, Alaska, Valerie Nelson.
Oh, nice. Very nice. Hello.
Very cool. I'm going to get to Alaska one of these days. Andras Jonas from Hungary. Wow.
Oh.
That is so awesome. Okay. We have, Becky Sloan from the mountains of Arizona.
Cool.
Marius Dalmo Thorjussen from Norway.
Oh, hey, do.
Very cool. I interviewed somebody from Norway who was healed.
Yeah.
I am Dunsel. Very cool. Heidi Gold. I grew up in Chicago too. That's my home.
Cool, Heidi. That's totally cool. I did not know that.
Chapter 444 here is from New England.
Very nice. Yep.
We have Pogo Joe. We have, let me see if I can pronounce that. Firefighter.
Oh, firefighter. Oh, I know. I'm Rammstein. Okay.
Yeah. I almost considered moving to Grants Pass at one point.
Yeah.
You know, my brother and sister-in-law are in Medford. Grants Pass is beautiful.
Yeah.
We have Barbara Cathers. I'm going to put a little... Oh, my husband wants to know why we haven't returned to the moon. Oh, we'll get into that. Good question.
Okay. Actually, they just put a lander on the moon. Do you all not know that? The U.S. dropped one last week on the moon.
Yeah, but we haven't.
No people, but a lander, yes.
Anyway, thanks, Bob Thorson. Truly appreciate it. Who else we got here? Kay Butler from Swanton, Ohio.
Hello.
Ian Madgun Mangham from Derbyshire.
Yeah.
Derbyshire.
Shire. Yeah.
I'm not Shire, which it is. I think it's Derbyshire.
Bashar.
Episode 99. Wow,
Eh.
time flies. Yes, it does. We have Denise Gaudreau, and with that, from Connecticut, hello. I think it's
Hi.
time to get this show on the road. So yeah, thank you guys for joining us. So much fun. We are going to have just a fun time tonight. It's a holiday. I think we deserve a little break. We've got an excellent guest lined up for next week. We've got some really good guests coming up. So it's going to be pretty exciting. Thought
Yeah.
I'd start the show with a little anniversary. It turns out that on this day, let me see, 75 years ago, there was a unique event over Farmington, New Mexico that was really unlike any other event in UFO history. And if you haven't heard of it, well, you're going to hear about it now because people should know about this. It's called the Farmington UFO Wave. I actually wrote about it in my book, Not From Here, Volume 5, where I profiled cases involving events that had more than 50 UFOs sighted at a time. There were some 200 UFOs seen in the sky on St. Patrick's Day in 1950. It was amazing because these objects showed up at daytime. I think it was like around 11 a.m., stopped traffic in the streets. People came running out of their homes where they were working. The mayor saw it, the businessmen, police saw it, everybody in town pretty much. This is a smallish town of 3,000, depending on how you define it, to twice that size. Created international headlines. Air Force tried to deny it. Ed Ruppelt tried to call it a shattered skyhook balloon, which is absolutely absurd because these objects were darting around each other, moving off. There was a very large craft releasing smaller craft. They were white and disc-shaped. They were actually photographed. This was what we call a UFO display. This was a clear-cut, deliberate display over this small town. This is often how they will do it. It's one of about 20 cases I found where UFOs show up in extremely large numbers, which is so interesting to me because if this is no way, no possible way, secret military craft. I don't think we would have that many craft, nor would we fly them over a town like that. They did a display for about 20 minutes to an hour, left, came back later. Air Force actually came there, questioned people about it, threatened them not to talk about it, tried to cover it up. To this day, it's considered a classic event. It's never been debunked. No evidence of hoaxing. How would you hoax something like that? Impossible. There's never been a full-length book written on it, though I did talk to a guy who said he's working on it. He contacted me, wanted to know how I got all these articles about it, and I sent him all the information. So hopefully that book will one day come out. I sure hope so, because it's an amazing event in UFO history that occurred on St. Patrick's Day. So there you go. How interesting is that? What do you think, Dolly? Why would UFOs do such a huge display?
They were trying to make their presence known in a particular way. Where they were at is important to note, to pay attention to. The sheer numbers of them, what was going on in history on that day, or what was going on around us that day, that would play into it. And who was president, and what did that president say or do before that happened?
Oh, that's interesting. There are some who speculated that it was a memorial for the Aztec UFO crash, which had occurred, I think, 1 year earlier. I'm not
On
sure.
that day?
Yeah, I'd have to look that up.
I don't think so.
I'm not sure about that.
No.
But
no, it wouldn't be a memorial. They don't do that. It has to do with something about where they were, who was in power at the time, what were they doing, what was going on in the world, and that particular area especially.
Oh yeah, the Aztec occurred on March 25, so that really wouldn't make sense. But
no.
There was some speculation about it. Either way.
Trying to plant a ruse around it, to be honest with you. Misinformation comes in many forms, and they will plant ideas into people's heads about things to misdirect their attention away from it. And what I'm telling you is, y'all look it up. Y'all look up what was going on in the world that day, 75 years ago, today. Who was president? What did the president say the day before or the week before? And that particular area, what was going on there as well.
All right.
You'll get
Great.
your answers. Okay.
Now I got homework to do. Thanks, Dolly.
Welcome.
All right. Well, why don't we just get to the questions, I guess. So keep bringing them on.
Okay, well, I have a question. Didn't we plan on something because it's St. Patty's Day to do for everybody?
That's right. Thank you.
Okay.
We have a little giveaway. We're going to start it at the top of the second hour, but we're going to give away one of my books, Wondrous. Now, if you already have this book, you can still participate. I'll replace it with another book. This is one of my favorite, though, because it has all kinds of lovely little pictures in there. Let's see if I can find some for you. There. How about this one? Look at evidence of an ET implant. See it in there? It's a very interesting case. And yeah, this is one of the that's absolutely illustrated. So not always able to illustrate books. This is from Kisara. I love this book.
It's a good book.
So yeah, we're going to do a giveaway. Don't let me forget, at the top of the hour, 9 o'clock, we will announce how it works. This is for live audience only. So for those of you who are watching on the replay, I'm so sorry. Hopefully next time you can catch the live show, because we really can't hold it over. It would be logistically very, very difficult for us.
So at 9 o'clock, we're going to call it, and we'll tell you how you can win. So,
yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Dolly. I almost forgot. I appreciate that.
No problem.
All right, well, let's get to the questions. And let me see here. If I skipped any, please forgive me, because I'm doing my best. But here's Peak. You're always first in line. I don't know how you do it. But we love it. And the question is from Peak. I know ETs can't fly right now because they'd crash. But hypothetically, if they spent 100% of their time on Earth in the ocean, would they be safe? Hey.
No, not at all. The electromagnetic energy coming from the sun down on the Earth, and the fact that the Earth's poles are changing and our magnetosphere is 40% down, lets 40% more gamma radiation in and other types of energy. And you can't Faraday the planet. The planet is as vulnerable all the way to the core as anywhere else. So no, the oceans would not protect them.
Too bad.
Yeah.
That sounded like a really good question. All right. Too bad. All right. Well, I'm going to pop this one up, because if you give a donation, you absolutely get cuts in line. This is from Firefighter. Thank you for the donation, first of all. Do you have any research of UFOs on the Redwood Highway in Grants Pass all the way to Crescent City, California? I did find some cases up in Grants Pass, because I was considering moving there, and that's the first thing I did. I'm like, I wonder if there are any UFO cases there. I did find a couple. Honestly, can't remember what they were. But I will look that up for you if you want to send me an email. I will absolutely send you what I can find. Or actually, I'll put that on my hometown episodes. That would be a perfect town to look up.
Make a note. Write it down, or you'll forget.
I won't forget.
Okay.
I will write it down just in case. Grants Pass. Yeah, for those of you who don't know, on my YouTube channel, I put out a challenge: name any location on this planet, your hometown, any town, city, or location, and I'll find a UFO case there. And I've been doing, I think I've done 8 episodes so far, where I've profiled anywhere from 7 to 10 locations. I'm working my way down a list of 800 plus locations at this point. So please be patient with me, because I know some of you have already submitted a location. But I'm getting to them. It's all kinds of fun. I'm learning some really interesting stuff. So, yeah, I will look up Grants Pass, because I know for sure that I saw cases there. Okay, let me see. Let's moving along to the next question. And let's see. This is from Brian Morgan. I'll answer this one first, because I'm pretty sure you don't know about this, Dolly. I barely know about it. I'd be curious what Dolly and Preston think of Project 8 200. It was several of the best remote viewers revisiting 4 alleged ET bases that Pat Price, one of the best remote viewers, ever saw. I have not, I think this is a documentary, if I remember correctly. I've not seen it. I do think remote viewing is legit. As far as
Was this 10 years ago?
it might have been, yeah. But I know how you feel about ET bases here.
No, I'm making the question. I'm asking Talata right now because I'm not aware of this, and the only way I'm going to get an answer now would be is if he speaks to me quickly. And
Yeah,
right.
this is a book. Now I'm looking it up. I see. But no, I don't really know about this. Remote viewing is a difficult subject to verify, and some of the stuff that people are saying that they're seeing, like cities on Mars and stuff, we've remote viewed this. I'm skeptical of that. I wish I could, provide you more information, Brian, about this, but I just don't know enough about it.
I have something to say now. I would like to bring it to your attention that if the government's going to produce a false flag, they've had a long time to think about it already. Think clearly about this, and they have written into their narratives to the American people and around the world certain things over the years that are pushing toward that narrative now. And this would be one of them. Remote viewers can be used in a way that I want you to understand that innocent people can be used against all logic. If you pay somebody enough money, they will say what they want you to say. This happens quite frequently, even among our own scientific community. They are highly paid, federally funded people here and around the world from their governments to run narratives of what they want you to know and understand. This is actually going on here. It's tragedy. There is no ET bases on this planet. There never has been. If they come in the open, and if they were going to land and work directly with us, they would work directly with you. There would be no base anywhere. That's never been their way. There is evidence archaeologically of them doing just that, working out in the open with different peoples. It's hard to understand why humanity, well, it's not hard for me, but I want y'all to understand that y'all have been lied to for so long about so much that it's going to be really hard for y'all to, climb through and understand what's real and what's not real. And I'm telling you that anybody has found or seen, even in remote view, an ET base on this planet. It does not exist.
Yeah, and I think what some people might perceive as a underground base might feel that way because they're inside a UFO. That's because they will set up bases of operation while they're temporarily there, but they're not building structures. But they might just go into the ground there and hang out while they're doing things for a little while, or take you to another planet and you might think that's a base, or even underwater, because there are people who've reported this kind of thing. I don't know.
They have motherships. They don't need bases.
Yeah.
It's safer for them to be outphased out of this dimension in a mothership than to hang around on the planet.
What was there at any time in our history?
There was one on the back of the moon. Okay, that is actually still there, and there's a lot of controversy about that. But it's a small outpost, not a base. Like you would think of a base, like a big army base or an Air Force base. No. It's like an outpost. And it's basically had AI there, and they would go back and forth to it. And it's basically just to watch what's going on, take calculations, things like that. They're not just looking at us. They look at our solar system. They watch what's happening with our sun. They watch what happens to all the other planets in our systems and the moons. They take calculations. They have scientifically studied this solar system from eons ago and have not stopped doing that. And they make good assessments that way about our future and our health and what we should expect in their eyes, that kind of thing. And they are our progenitors. They do watch what's happening to us, and it is foolish to believe that they're going to run the show here. They're not. We run the show. Everything we do is on us. But they care enough about us to make sure that we don't annihilate each other. And that means preserving our DNA, preserving our animals, preserving our flora and fauna. They're that advanced. They don't. It's very complicated. Y'all need to think about this critically. Think this one through. It is if you want to anthropomorphize everything from your point of view, you're already in the wrong path of thinking about who they are, what they are, and why they are. It's good advice to y'all to think clearly through this. And if you're hearing gossip, or he said, she said, and how many people did it go through before it got to you, and when was it said, you need to critically ask yourself, if you can't go to the horse's mouth on this, the person who originally said it, I would take a step back and pour a pound of salt on it and really think it through before I answered to myself whether I understood it as real or not. Okay? Do your own research. Do your own heavy-duty research on everything you see, hear, feel, and taste, touch, everything. It's important.
Yeah, well, Dolly, just so you have an advantage over a lot of us here with the direct pipeline to the ETs. So that's why I think it's important that you do share this knowledge.
Well, I try to give good advice for this. I can't tell you some things, but the things that I can tell you, I do. And this is one of them. ET does not have bases on this planet. They have only ever come here to work with human beings in the past openly. And they have not worked openly with us, this group, because we've been out of touch with reality for a long time. The attitude, the control issues in our iteration are terrible, and you can't openly work with that. We have to fix ourselves first before they touch you. So
yeah,
think about that.
That's very unfortunate, isn't it? All right, I'm going to pull up another peak question because she got in line first. Bouncing around peak because I want to give other people a chance, but I've got all your questions lined up. Okay, I'm sure you understand because you said so. All right, question from Peak is, did you ever play any games with the ETs while recreating? What types of games? Do you have
when I was really little, we used to play okay, so they're advanced, okay, and they're very intelligent, and we have wide open psychic communication, so you can hear everybody thinking, okay? And if everybody's in a group and you're in consensus with one another, everybody knows what's going on. So you can't play the kind of game where you guess things. You can't play the kind of game where you try to outsmart anybody because everybody's on the same page. The type of games they play are let's find something like that somebody knows about, okay, and they try to hold it inside and not let it out of their head, and then everybody comes up with what they think it is in consensus together. It's not just one person doing it, everybody's doing it, and then they see if they're correct, and the person holding that information will open their mind and show you. They also play games of levity. In other words, you know what hopscotch is or jump rope is. When we were little, they played those games too, physical games, running games, swimming games, those kinds of things, physical games, but they don't compete with one another. It's a game. And so it's different. Marco Polo's sort of like one that I used to play, not quite it, because you don't, when you're psychic, psychometry is a big deal in our abilities, and I can find you anywhere in the water I want to, even with my eyes shut. But we play Marco Polo in that we try to shut down and not hear, and then find by sound only. That's a big deal for them, by sound. They have games where the teacher of the group or both teachers will say, let's imagine a song together, and everybody will work together to build a song, and then everybody sings the song. Or let's do a math problem. That's a game for them. That's an enjoyable game because they're very mathematically inclined. Things like that. It's mostly educational, some fun fanfare. Nobody gets out of control and nobody competes at all because they're all on the same page, and competition to them is a waste of time because it causes separation and emotional defeat, and they
No,
don't
we
like
see
that.
that here, yeah.
Yeah.
I will say I did interview a guy, Tim from Louisiana, who was taken on board a craft up to the helm, the control room.
Hmm.
There were two very young grays. This was his perception. These were like teenagers, and they were learning how to fly, and they were very playful with it. Like, let's try this, let's try that. And other craft were up there, and they were doing sort of fun maneuvering, learning how to do it. I've heard that sort of thing.
Right.
I'm not sure I would call that a game,
That's
but kind of.
teaching. It's an
Yeah.
educational teaching toy. Yeah.
And I do know of a number of cases involving young children who were taken on board, and basically it's another teaching game involving telekinesis, where they try to lift up an object,
Yep.
or move it, and that sort of thing, or telepathy. Got a couple of cases of that. I think you actually mentioned that at one point.
Yes.
Telepathy games.
Right.
So
that's why I want y'all to do it too. If you've got kids at home, that's the best place to start. Play with your kids, do telepathy games with your kids. Get the cards, the colors, all of that stuff, and start playing together and gauge how well you're doing. And then, yay, we're doing it, and keep going. It's good.
All right. Next question from Belcher. Preston, did you say you live in New Orleans, Louisiana?
Mm-hmm.
No. I know it sounds like that because our show is actually being live streamed from Louisiana.
Right.
The 107.7 FM. Shout out 105.3. United Paranormal Radio Network. Yeah, we're streaming from their UFO Paranormal Radio Network. But no, we don't actually live there.
Right.
So that is the answer to that question. Let me unstar that and move to Leah's question. Hello. May I ask what human skills will serve us in advanced existences? Like, I draw. I would love to do alien family portraits. Does materiality matter here? Yeah, I think all skills are going to be valuable. Everyone has certain talents that they work on. I think that's one of the reasons we come down here, whether it is to develop yourself physically or how to build things or mathematics or astrophysics or whatever. All of these skills will be useful not only here, but in whatever society you choose to incarnate in. I suspect that we choose where we incarnate to develop certain talents.
You just hit the nail on the head. I want to tell you something. Art, the ability to do art, draw, paint, sculpt, all of that is a psychic ability, because it takes your ability to take information in and then develop it out through your own hands. And you might not think that, but it's true. Inspiration comes from your abilities, your psychic abilities. And it's not just what you see, but what you are informed about as well. And people come up with the most beautiful, beautiful stuff. And what you don't realize is you're employing ability when you do that. Think about that. Take it to the next level. So.
Okay. Wow. All right. You guys are finally bringing some questions. Wow. Okay. Okay. Hold on while I just start all these other ones. Oh my goodness. Guys. Very cool. Okay. There we go. Oh, it makes me feel less guilty when other people get questions between my questions. So thank you for skipping around. I know, of course.
Thank you, Pete.
You're very sweet. But I am going to go back to one of your questions. Okay. Have you learned anything new about mantids and what they're like since last time I asked about them? You know, I get a lot of accounts of different, what we would think of different types, really different ethnicities. I like the term that Dolly uses of ETs. We're all basically humanoid. But most common that I get, over 50% are grays or some variation of it, then human looking. And then beyond that, I would say it's short little humanoids and very tall humanoids. And mantids are certainly a category, but maybe 10 people I've interviewed who had full-on mantid encounters. I just did one on my YouTube channel just a few days ago, actually. I think from what I'm able to understand is they're very, very intelligent. There's a guy in England, Jason Andrews, who's had some encounters with them. He says they're one of the older races. They're the Watchers. They collect knowledge. They're very, very intellectually minded. They often worked with Greys and other ET types, but this is still a new field of study. We need a lot of time and attention paid to this subject before we start getting real answers. I don't know. What do you know about the mantids, Dolly?
Well, that they are very, very old, been around a long time. They are not from our galaxy. They're from another galaxy, and they are. When I say watcher, I mean that they are watching us develop. They are gauging where we're at and how well we're doing with ourselves in every aspect of what that means. And sometimes they will interact with us, whether you know it or not, psychically. If they see that you're working on something and that you're on the verge of a breakthrough moment or a light bulb moment, as some people call it, they will interject in and psychically contact you, whether you realize it or not, and kind of help walk you through it. It's almost like having a guardian angel on this planet via ET. They are from the third dimension, as we are. They're not other dimensional being types. They are definitely humanoids. They do not have an exoskeleton. They actually have skins and bones. They're humans have a tendency to, when you see it in nature, and you see somebody that looks like what that is in our nature, you overwrite with your mind what that is. And it's pareidolia is what it is. And so you're seeing what you can accept to see because you don't know what it is, and you're implanting that image over the top of what that is. And a lot of people on this planet do it. It's a natural instinct to do it. That makes you more curious that way. And it also helps you to try to have a foundation of where to go from there while you're looking at it and deciding what you're looking at. So they look like what we would call a mantid because they're very tall, they're very slender, they have interesting body form. In other words, their arms are different, and they are very, very, very tall. And their heads, the one that I've seen myself, they have unbelievable cheekbones, like out to here, okay? And over their head is very broad, this way, not like this, rounded. It's broad back with the cheekbones being like this. And they have a long, slender, protuberant face, like a mantid would. I don't think that they would show their teeth to you. I've never seen their teeth. We'd be lucky to see that, but I know they have teeth. They eat, but they don't behave. Don't assume that they act like a mantid or a mantis on this planet. They do not. They're highly, highly evolved, intelligent beings and people just like us. And like I said, they watch over us. They are the watchers, and they do work with the Greys. They work to report back and forth how we're doing. Sometimes they'll interact with us, and people are starting to wake up to seeing them. So.
Yeah, one of my favorite cases involved a Navy medic Kevin Cameron was his name.
Yeah.
Who saw a mantid, his roommate on the ship that he was on. Forget the name of it. I don't remember what it was called. But at any rate, his roommate was a contactee and told Kevin this, and Kevin didn't believe him and said, "I want to meet your little green friends." That ended up with him being taken on board fully voluntarily. He asked for it. And although it was a fully benevolent encounter, it quite scared him. And he got to a long conversation with the mantids, who basically said that they know every language on our planet, that all the major governments are aware of them, that Roswell did happen, named their planet. He said he couldn't pronounce it, their star system. What else? He told him all kinds of stuff. That since we started exploding nuclear materials, it started what they called a countdown clock, and that a number of disasters would happen on our planet as a result that could not be prevented. Sadly, Kevin died just a 4 or 5 years ago. But an amazing case. He's a twin. His twin brother also had encounters.
I want to bring something up while we're on this subject right now, because you said something important. I want y'all to remember that we're in a 12,000 year cycle right now. We're all living together in this 12,000 year cycle. Before this one, there was another one and another one and another one and another one. We're not the only ones who've developed nuclear power in the past. They've done it before as well. And some learned to put it down and get rid of it, and then some didn't. We are at a crucible right now with our situation, because the way our system is right now, we have a lot of things going on externally around us in our galaxy as well. And this may be the last ride on this planet that they're going to help us move completely off and get us out of Dodge, because our entire galaxy is in danger. Andromeda is coming at us, and they don't tell you the truth about how fast it's going to get here. They give you a bunch of numbers and they're whack-a-mole about it completely. Gravitational forces attract, and they do attract, and we are now energetically touching one another already. They don't tell you that either. And instead of 2.4 million years, we're looking at 38,000. That's not a long time. And they're looking to get everybody out of this galaxy right now. That's the truth. It's not just us, it's everybody else. And we seem to be stuck harnessing our stubbornness and our unwillingness to think this one through. And it's the powers that be that are causing all the problems for us. And I am not a perfect person. I can't begin to believe or understand what it is about mankind now that absolutely goes completely delusional in their thinking and want control under all circumstances. And we got to stop that. We got to stop thinking that way, because we got a moment in time coming up where we all got a chance. If you don't want to take that chance, prepare for something else. And that's where we're all at. People talk about this great big shift. Yeah, it's a physical shift. Our entire galaxy is evacuating. We're not the only ones. And while they're not here right now, they're moving others out who want to go now and have no impediments on them to do that. We're the stuck ones here. And it's because our people aren't waking up to it fast enough. If you open your mind and you learn to use your abilities and you make direct contact with ET and you start listening to what they say, you'll be on the same page with this. You'll understand it. But we got to do our homework and get going at it. Otherwise, you got decisions to make rapidly about your future.
Which is one of the reasons I think this subject is so important, because it does wake people up. It really makes people think and reconsider how we're living here on this planet, knowing that there are other advanced civilizations out there.
Yeah.
So you're tuning in, guys. Thank you so much. There's so much to learn. Yeah. You really have an opportunity here with these ETs and listening to what they have to tell us. Okay, let's go to the next question. Let's see here. I'll pull up this one from Lee, and then I'll go to another peak question. Okay, do ETs like food like we do?
Well, they don't like hot dogs and hamburgers like we do, and they don't eat potato chips or any of that, okay? Most of the Greys mostly eat meat. They're fish eaters, big fish eaters, but they'll eat chicken too. They drink herbs, teas, things like that, but mostly they're carnivores, straight up carnivores. There are other ethnicities that do eat a mixed diet like we do, because we're omnivores, and but they eat whole foods. They eat their own grown foods. They won't put pesticides. They're very, very careful, holistic about their approach to their diet and the water that they drink. That's another one of our issues, remember? So yeah, if you were to put on a barbecue and invite an ET, I don't think you'd get an answer about that. I don't think they'd eat with you, but they might hang out with you. Not now, but in the past they might have. I've heard people talk about that on board, by the way. One of the people we picked up once had a story for me about how her mother talked about, they came to a barbecue and her mother didn't want to leave the barbecue, and they stayed and they enjoyed hanging with everybody, and then they took her and brought her back. And I was like fascinated. Really? That was okay. This was all the way back in the 40s. So, they're people just like us. They will enjoy our company if we let them. Period.
Yeah, there's a number of cases in the literature, and I've heard a few. Well, Kevin Kamen, he asked them that, and they said, because he's like, "Are you going to eat me?" And they said, "No, you watch too many horror movies. We eat fruits, vegetables, and fish mostly," is what they said. There's a number of cases where people have been offered various fruits. I remember one lady from Russia talked about eating something that she didn't have a name for it. It was like a cross between a berry and a larger piece of, like a huge, humongous berry. So yeah,
Like a mushroom berry?
I don't remember what it was, but
I've
yeah,
eaten something like that on board. They have things that look like mushrooms and they taste like berries, and they're berry colored. Different colors of berries, and it's like mushroom texture. And I took me 10, 20 minutes to decide to put it in my mouth. Yeah, they got something like that. Yep.
yeah. One guy I know, I remember reading this. He tried to sneak a piece of fruit off, and like, no, you can't do that.
No.
Very hard to sneak artifacts off of a craft. I don't think anyone has ever been able to do that, but there are cases of people who've been given, little things, stones and crystals.
Feathers even.
So that does
Not
happen.
kidding. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, that's a good question. Thank you, Leah. All right. What's the next question we have here? We already answered that one. So let me see. Okay, here's one from Peak. All right. Do ET still read or create fiction in some way? And if so, who is considered the greatest writer or fiction story producer in their culture?
Never
Didn't you
know.
say they enjoyed one of the movies, South Pacific? Was that?
Yeah, they like South Pacific. They enjoy watching it. It's the music that got them, not the story, but the music. They love music. They create music. They love music. Oh my God. But no, they do not create fiction, not in any way. You have to understand that they're wide open truth tellers. Falsities do not, they think it obliterates your ability to think straight. And imagining something is the same thing as teaching yourself to be delusional, and they don't do it. They've evolved past that. Now they'll tell you true stories. Okay, they will tell you about things that have happened to them personally. And if it's funny, oh my God, you'll hear about it. They are the biggest comedians in the universe. Okay. They have weird senses of humor. And if they have a funny story about something that happened that's real, they will tell you all day and night. And they do. So yeah, they're comedian. They love a good joke. They're not mean jokey, but if something happened and it's unbelievably funny, they will tell it.
Well, I'm kind of disappointed because I really like fiction, science fiction, but I get it. I actually prefer nonfiction, so there you go. Okay, this is the one that made me laugh. From Archaic Revival. Are aliens snuggly like kittens?
Yeah. Very, very. They're touchy-feely. Not scratchy bleedy, they're touchy-feely. And they love animals. Oh my God. Yep. They will hug you, they'll snuffle you. The tall grays, the way they greet one another is they lean foreheads in and you can hear them whiffing each other. They inhale, they huff like a tiger. And it's cool as heck. Mom, when I was growing up, I had to always have her hand on me all the time, on my shoulder. She'd pat me on the head. She'd take my cheek and look at me. She'd turn me around and check me out and make sure I was okay. And very huggy. When I was really little, I sat on her lap all the time and she would carry me around. So yeah, They are touchy-feely, very, very touchy-feely.
Yeah, and the episode I just put up on my YouTube channel, the witness went on board, and there was a tall mantid and little grays, which she thought at first were children. They were hopping around and chirping and tugging at her clothes, and she had long blonde hair, and they were feeling it, which she was used to because she had gone to China and everyone wanted to feel her hair.
Yeah.
So yeah, now that I think of it, there are a number of cases where people describe them as being very playful. I'm trying to think if anyone actually hugged one. I remember Whitley Strieber said one jumped on his back at one point and hugged him.
Well,
So there's that.
Yeah, hugging mom she would sit down and I'd sit in her lap and I'd get hugs like that. Or she'd lean down all the way onto the floor with her knees and then hug me like that. She never tried to overhug me. She always hugged me face to face if she could. And she never snuck up on me or anything like that. She could whistle. That was the other thing I never told you about Preston. She could whistle. I didn't think she could, but she could. She can whistle. Oh my God. Better than you. And amazing sounds. Yeah.
No, all right.
Good whistler, and she had a whistle, and I hear it, and I echolocate her. Oh, I know where she is. It's like wow.
So do they have kittens on board?
Mm-hmm. Well, okay, it depends. If it's a fun trip and they got time for the animals to be on board, they'll be on board. If they're picking you up to get you out of here, and you got an animal, your animal gets to go with you, except horses and cows. No offense, okay? No giraffe. No warthogs, but cats, dogs, little things. Yes. Do not bring your fish. It won't survive. They might eat it. Leave it, put it in a lake somewhere, let it go. I'm not kidding about that either. They like fish. And it's food to them. Don't bring fish on board. But yeah, they love animals, birds, you name it. They love them.
Patsy Foister. Scratchy Bleedy. LAMO. Yeah, our little kitty is Scratchy Bleedy. Yeah. Sometimes warm and huggy, snuggly, but she likes to scratch your skin off too.
Yeah.
Okay, I had to pop that up there. All right, we got a number of good questions here. Okay, this is a good one from Becky. I want to know this too, Dolly. Dolly, do you have any plans to resume teaching psychic abilities on Facebook or YouTube?
Yes, it's coming this summer. We're working on it. I'm actually going to our producers are working out a plan to where I will begin teaching, and so I have to, I'm developing, actual lesson plans and ways of giving you information that will actually be like a class to you, and I will give you testing and everything to make sure you're up on it, and there will be people together and then personalized as well, and I have to get to the point where I can do that, and they're working out the details of how it's going to be on the channel and all that stuff. So, yeah.
All right. Well, guess what time it is?
Is it 9 o'clock? Woo! Okay.
All right. So we are doing a giveaway tonight of my book, Wondrous. If you already have it, you can still play because you can choose another book. But I want to do a giveaway pretty much every time we do a Q&A, or even more often, because it's fun. We had so much fun last time we did it. And here's how we're going to do it. We have chosen a number between 1 and 1,000. And I know that's a lot. So whoever gets closest, of course, will win the prize. This goes to the end of the show at 10 p.m. Eastern, and then ends at that point. So that gives you 1 hour to put in. One guest only per person. Please, one guest only.
Right.
Our number is already written down. I'll psychically send it out to you right now. For you or psychic, more than one person guesses it, you absolutely will both get a prize. Oh my God, where is my pen? I am in trouble. Oh my gosh, it's pouring in.
Preston, somebody already guessed it. I'm not going to say who it is.
You
because
can't say that, Dolly.
There might be more than one person. You might have to send 4 books out tonight. Yep.
Well, don't say somebody already guessed it.
Okay.
Because that way, everyone will start.
I'm trying to mark who it was who said it first. So.
And maybe you're wrong, but at any rate.
Not.
Don't ever do that again, Dolly.
I'm sorry. Just want to make sure the right person.
I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to pick another number.
Why? That's not fair.
No, that person will get a prize too. But since you gave it away.
I didn't give it away. I didn't say who got it.
Yeah, but everyone can start guessing. I'm giving another number right now.
Okay.
So we're giving away 2 bucks.
Well, you better pay attention to who puts it out there first.
Yeah, I saw it.
All right.
So that gives you twice the chances. Yes, twice the chances.
All right. See, I know how to get more out of it.
All right, guys.
Okay.
While I try to catch up with all of this, I'm going to pop up another question. And
Okay.
Dolly, you're going to have to
Okay.
focus on this one because this is going to keep me busy.
One more. Okay.
And this is open-ended. So, Peak. Question is, can you riff on anything interesting you know about ancient history and what we think that's correct or incorrect? Something surprising. Okay.
Well, Atlantis was not in this iteration, not in this 12,000 year iteration. Atlantis was from the one before. And it's interesting how that information filtered back through to this one. But Atlantis happened more than 6,000, 12,000 years ago. It's a long time ago. And they actually do have a really good idea of where it was. It is in the eye of the Sahara, okay? And that's where it was for sure. But there are other places in the water all around the plates, where there were other ancient civilizations. And you're not going to know where they are, how they are, because once the planet flips over again and they come back up, to air and everything else goes underwater, stuff that you live on right now, you have to be careful about where you think you live. Nobody will know. And you're not going to really be interested in knowing by that time anyway. So yeah, there have been many, 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 many iterations on this planet of civilizations past all the way, back to the, dinosaurs. And then before that, we weren't even on this planet. We were on Mars a long time ago. And they brought us over here after a big calamity. So yeah. That's one of the things that I can tell you for sure that I know that's exactly how that went. There's things about they pretty much got the Roman Empire down pretty smack, and they're good with the Greek empires, but the Sumerian Empire and the Anunnaki and all that, they're not real clear. And the Sphinx is more than 14,000 years old. Okay, this is 2 iterations back where the Sphinx comes from. And I think the reason they don't want you to know that they know what's under that thing is because of that, because that would prove we have a calamity coming and they don't want you to know the truth. I think, understand? Let's see what else.
Who built the pyramids? Was it E.T.?
It was a society that came out of, I guess it was 2 iterations ago as well. They're older than you think. They're more than 14,000. I think they're 21,000 years old. I want to tell you something about carbon dating. It's a fallible way to do that. You can't really carbon date things with any reliability, because you have to understand you have incoming radiation that degrades even the things that are already radiated on the ground. So something from 24,000 years ago, it's hard to date that back because it's still being degraded by radiation coming in from the sun. And every time we have the 12,000 year thing, we have more coming in like we have now, gamma coming in, and it just messes with it. There's really no good dating method. ET knows there are good dating methods, but it's light, not radiation. And I think our scientists are finally starting to get that message and figure it out a little bit. So let's see what they come up with. But yeah, their radiocarbon dating is fallible, highly fallible. And they don't know the real dates of anything. They just go by the geographic record in the ground, Pleistocene, all of that, how the ground changes with each iteration and how deep it is and how many years is it's like tree rings, you go down on the ground. And it's amazing. They've guessed a lot of stuff, but then they have theorists arguing about it, and they have people who are paid to argue about it. And like I said, it's all a ruse anyway, because they're still trying to confuse you about what's really coming at you. If you don't know the total truth, then but yeah, radiocarbon dating, light dating, very good. You just have to know which way to make that work. So, do you do it?
Yep, I'm caught up.
All right.
I'm not giving any information away until the end of the show.
Okay.
You can see why.
All right.
Okay, so yeah, if you guys haven't put in your guess, please put in your guess. And let's see, what is our next question? From Sly Martins.
Okay.
Question. Does ET use 0-point energy? Do they drill for resources like we do? Well, they've got to use some metals and diamond and gold and all these things
You
have use.
understand that the universe has more resources than we do. All right. We're on a planet. They have everything at their disposal. They don't need to come here to drill for anything that we have. Gold was an interest to them at one point a couple iterations ago, but it wasn't to help them, it was to help us. And that's the point of that. It amazes me how they get blamed for things that are not true, and how they get made out to be bandits when they're really actually trying to help. There were iterations of them on this planet with us, like Egyptians before the Egyptians, where they were actually here sitting on the ground going, hey, okay, let's help them figure this out. And Gold was one of the facilitators at that time in that iteration, where their knowledge was right at the point where they could use that type of tech. No, 0-point energy is dangerous. And I want you to understand that y'all have been, it's like a buzzword. Any type of electromagnetic radiation or energy coming at you from everywhere and then focused into one place that should light up everything else, puts you in direct electromagnetic current. It's bad enough that we have it on lines going into your house. This is even worse. It can hurt you without you being Faradayed properly from it. And you don't do it from above, you do it from below. And that runs into problems because our techniques, our plate tectonics and all of that have issues with that as well. They do not use that type of energy. They are good solar collectors. They do have batteries that are absolutely so advanced that they can hold way more energy that run this whole planet for 2 days off of one of their batteries. And they collect energy from nature. You see them collecting lightning. You see them collecting off our wires, They go to major trunk lines and they'll actually pull electricity to revamp their battery systems. That kind of electricity. If they could use 0-point energy, would they do that? No, they do not use it. It is too deadly dangerous for us. It would cut you up and burn you alive. No, 0-point energy is a buzzword. I hate hearing it. Please stop thinking that way, because that's not how it works. For them to move out of our solar system and cross the universe, they go out dimensionally. They create a light gate and they go out dimensionally, extra dimensionally. They leave the third dimension and go out that way and travel clean across the universe in less than 1 second. It's a different type of power, and it's energy that they've manufactured from where the fifth dimension is. And we don't even have the element here. We know what it is. Lazar was pretty good at figuring this out. It's element 115. And what happens is when they burn it, it turns into element 116. It leaves no residual garbage from it. Okay. It has no half-life or afterlife at all. It's totally used up 100%. And it doesn't come from here. They've tried to identify here. They've tried to make it. That's why CERN exists, by the way. And they can't do it because there's not enough of it in this solar system on this planet to accomplish that. So no, 0-point energy is deadly dangerous stuff. And Tesla was trying to make a point with it to show that it could be done a certain way. And they never let him bring it to its fruition or finish his experiments with it. Okay, he didn't know everything about it. He was experimenting at the time, and they stopped him dead cold. And that's because they had already back engineered enough to know better than to put it up like that. So sorry, 0-point energy is not okay. All right.
All right. I'm not sure I can really add to that because from what I understand, ETs will harness the magnetic gravitational field lines of our planet. And their craft are very, very advanced that don't really use fossil fuel.
It's electricity that is so highly advanced that the charge on it is so high that it becomes a graviton wave. Most people, when I first started talking openly, I've had 3 physicists come after me and call me an idiot and a whole bunch of other people. And now they're like, uh-oh, she's right. She's talking the truth, and I am. Electricity is the foundation of all gravitation, all of it, period. Light and electricity. And you can create a high voltage of electricity that becomes a graviton wave. An electromagnetic current at the core of this planet is metal, right? And it's producing electromagnetic, which is energy, electric current. And it creates, we don't have just mass holding our gravity. We have that at the center of our planet, causing major more gravity to hold it all in together and keep us on the surface of this planet. And if we lost that, we would float away. It would explode and then we would float away. Look at what happened to Mars. It got hit so hard, it killed its core and it blew off the entire surface of Mars. It's outgassing and collapsing in on itself. It's a dead core planet. Electricity is the foundation of all gravitational force.
All right. I just want to do another repeat of, we're doing a little giveaway, chapter 444, and anyone who's tuning in, giving away the book Wondrous. If you can guess a number between 1 and 1,000, we're actually giving away 2 books because somebody already guessed the number and Dolly gave that away. So
I didn't say who it was. And I
No.
didn't give away the number either. I never said the number either.
No, but that will give them a choice between like 20 numbers to choose from by just going down the list. So that doubles your chances. Yeah, a number between 1 and 1,000. One guess only, please. Well, I suppose we can give you 2 guesses since there's 2 books, but fine. But yeah, that's it. And
Okay.
all right, let me see here. Okay, so that's why we're guessing numbers. Next comment, or next question, rather. I'll start with this one. Dolly, from Dunsel 2025. Do you guys believe George Adamski's story and the Nordic statement that he was from Venus? Perhaps that race has a base underground on Venus. No, I don't think that ETs come from Venus ever. But I do think George Adamski was a genuine contactee, and his story got a little out of control. I'm not sure about the books on the case, but I can tell you that there's really good reporting on this because he was with large groups of people when UFOs showed up. This is what got him interested in. He went out to Desert Center, California with a group of 3 other people, I believe it was, who did see this craft land, watched him walk up to it and have a face-to-face meeting with a human-looking ET. They have never retracted their statements. They said this did happen. And a number of pretty prominent investigators like Timothy Good have looked into George Adamski's case and come away convinced. Now, he's put out some stuff that is clearly not true. Some of his books, I suspect, are at least partially fictionalized. It's such a shame because I've seen this with other contactees who have a genuine contact and then kind of go off the rails a little bit, putting out stuff that is demonstrably untrue. So I don't know exactly what to think of some of the aspects of the George Adamski case, but I'm convinced that, yeah, he was, at least that one incident, true at Desert Center. I don't know, will ETs tell people they come from Venus? Because there are a few cases like that, just to sort of throw people off the track. Or perhaps people kind of...
No, it's not a joke. They don't lie. No, they won't even, not even as a joke. No. It is physically impossible to come from Venus. No physical life could live there. Okay? No life. Nothing. Couldn't even advance there.
Because they will tell people, well, it's not important where we come from. Or you wouldn't understand. I've heard that.
Yeah. Sometimes they'll say that. Yeah.
Okay.
But no, they would not deliberately tell you they come from Venus. Not at all.
What if I win twice? Archaic revival. Well, we'll work that out. Funny. Okay. Let's move to the next question here. Okay. I'll put this up from Coffee Gets Me, though I don't know that I can really answer this with any real authority. As reported by Rolf Coulthart, there's a particular building on a military base built over a huge, impossible to move UFO. What's your best guess where that would be? I know the rumor. Should I call it a rumor? He's reporting this. I don't know. I don't have any information about it. I couldn't tell you. But I have questions about that.
I can't say. I will tell you this. That's BS. Okay, no, not at all, zero. But you have to understand that they've back engineered stuff and they have stuff underground on bases. So go from there. But no huge UFO. That has not happened. ET would never leave that on the ground. Never. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, the story just doesn't make sense for a number of reasons. Okay, people are putting out their second number, so I'm keeping close on this.
Okay.
All right. Next question. Let's see here. I don't know if Dolly can answer this, Leah, but I'll ask. May I ask Dolly what race of star family I am closest to? That would require probably a closer conversation with her, huh?
Yeah, definitely. You'd have to let me look at you. You'd have to let me tap into you. We'd have to have a long conversation of it.
So, well, reach out to Dolly on Facebook. Is that all right? All right,
yeah,
Messenger.
I'll answer you. Yeah, Leah, you know how to contact me. We'll talk.
All right. Then we'll move on from there. And let's see here.
I will tell you all this. I want y'all to hear what I say. You are all related to the Anunnaki. Every last human being on this planet has Anunnaki blood. Every last single human being on this planet has Anunnaki blood. So you are star seeds already from long, long, long ago. And that leads back to what I said to you. Our progenitors are they, all of them. We're all related. We all have relatable DNA. They're us, we're them, we're all one. But we're especially related to the Anunnaki. Real in this iteration. Yep.
Okay. Denise Gaudreau. 75 years ago, around 1950, that was about the time Valiant Thor came and talked to Eisenhower. It's my assessment the Valiant Thor story is disinformation to sort of throw people off the track of what actually did happen with Eisenhower, which was in 1954.
Was it 54?
Yeah, February of
right.
1954,
yeah.
Where there was a meeting at Edwards Air Force Base, and ETs came down. This is the reporting on this, and met with Eisenhower directly. There was a lot of people there who were quite advanced in science and business and religion. Einstein.
Einstein was there. Yeah.
And there was other people. The more people have investigated this, the more it appears that this did happen. And I think mainly the subject was they wanted us to disclose the ET presence, and we didn't want to do that. They wanted us to stop doing nuclear.
Right. Number one issue, stop with the nuclear before we kill
ourselves. We didn't want to do that either. So it was kind of a stalemate.
The governments to stop lying to the people because they were already doing it. They were and they wouldn't do that either. And Eisenhower's hands were tied, and his reaction to them was that he was holding a deterrent, and that's how everybody else looked at it all the way across the globe. And there was nothing, he had no power to stop it at all. And by then he already understood that there was a military industrial complex operating over him, and he had no clue how to stop them.
All right. Yeah, the Valiant Thor story goes back to, gosh, what was his name?
False flag narrative. Period.
There was a guy who was a contactee who basically put this forth, and I tracked it back to this one guy.
Yeah.
Forget his name. I'll I'll see if I can
And
remember
you should
it.
come up with that for the next show and put it out there. Yeah, that would help
Okay.
immensely.
Let me see here. Let me just hide that comment. We already got to it. This is for me. Preston, what are your thoughts on the Phoenix Lights incident? Well, we did have Dr. Lynn Kite on the show. She did an interview. I do think that there were actual craft flying around on that night. But having talked to Dolly about this and done my research on this, because there was a guy who very early on put out an article in the MUFON Journal. It says we need to look at the explanation that this could have been a hologram exercise. And Dolly one day says, I need to tell you something about Phoenix Lights. I'm like, oh no, what? And told me that this is actually what it was. So, I can't say because I wasn't there, but I can tell you that I do trust Dolly, having had my own experiences and gone on board Dolly's craft and seen Dolly's story. I vetted it. So when she tells me stuff, I really take it seriously. So I think probably that's partially what happened, but I'm absolutely convinced there was real craft there because lots of people.
There were real craft
Yeah.
flying around. But opportunity is always barking somewhere, and they were already planning this anyway. And I think it was just a bonus for them that they had sightings at the same time. It's a big, heavy duty area back then, and they were all around anyway. And yeah, and it was 12D, not 2D, 3D, 4D, 5D, 6D, 7D. It was 12D technology. So.
All right. I can't remember that guy's name. I'm just trying to remember it and look it up. I'll figure it out. Okay. So yeah, I think there were, Dr. Lynn Kite actually saw some of the stuff before.
Yeah, going on. Yeah. Which was valid. I mean, really valid. She had some pictures and I was like, yep, there it is. I want to ask you all a question. I want you to think this one through. If that had been a real incident, the National Guard, the Air Force, the Army, everybody would have shown up for that. There would have been all eyes on. Every single network across the globe would have been on it. It was up long enough for that to have occurred. And none of that occurred. None of that. They didn't have that kind of control over the media worldwide at that point, and it would have become a national security incident right then. Okay? They would have been dropping their teeth, in their pants, and freaking the hell out if that was real. I just want to make that point to you all. You need to think this one through. It was an exercise in how gullible we can be, period, and what they can get away with showing you.
All right. Oh, and the guy who's originated the Valiant Thor stories, I believe, don't completely quote this on me, but Frank Stranges was a contactee. He wrote about meeting Valiant Thor and put forth this whole narrative, which has some true elements to it, which is kind of interesting to me. But no, I don't. There's some details about him that simply could not be true. So, my assessment. Take it or leave it. Okay, moving along to the next question. This is from Samantha Shaw. Do you believe in the secret space program? To an extent. I think that there's a lot of stuff going on, and it depends what you call the secret space program. Yes, I do think we are reverse engineering ET craft like the TR-3B that is absolutely going on. Are we traveling to other star systems? I doubt it. Are there secret moon missions? Don't know that would be.
No,
you could hide.
This way. There are too many astronomers on this planet with very high-powered cameras and telescopes, and there's no way they could get away with that. Period. Okay, I can tell you one place that I go to in Georgia, and it's a telescope village. Okay, and it's near Augusta. Okay, and I'm not going to say the name of it, otherwise everybody'd be out there and I'd get in trouble. Okay. But it's at least, I don't know, 100 acres large, and there are at least 27 astronomers out there with the kind of telescopes where you have to open the roof and let them out. Okay. And they train on the moon. It's in the perfect place to see the moon and in all its phases and all its, movements and everything. And at no time and in no way would that have gone unnoticed or unspoken of. We would have already known. There are too many people on the ground in this world that want to tell you the truth about what's going on and will if they see it. And no, there's no secret space program. There is this super space program that our government's built up, and they have uniforms and everything, but it's kind of it's their way of trying to put nuclear bombs in space so that we can shoot each other down or protect ourselves from other nuclear bombs coming at us. That's all that's about. That's what the Space Force is. Period. Okay.
Thank you, Janie. Very, very kind of you.
Thank you, Janie.
Okay. Let's see here. My goodness. Time is flying. Okay, so secret space program, we addressed that. Okay, Patsy Foister. Thank you, Patsy. How do we survive those who will buy into the government's false flag when presented?
Stay away from them. Go the other way. Shut it down. Don't get involved. Don't talk to them. Let them believe what they want to believe. You take care of yourself. It's all come down to, if you're going to survive long enough to get picked up by ET, you need to pay attention to what you're doing, not what they're doing. And if they become a problem, get away from them. You need to work that out. If you plan to survive, you need to have a plan in place, and you need to do it soon. Seriously. Okay? Who cares what they say? If you know the truth yourself and you're grounded in it, you need to be taking care of yourself. You need to heal yourself, use your abilities, prepare for your future. Everybody's so embedded in each other's business here. And that's a serious problem for all of us, because it causes problems. It causes division. It causes lying. It causes all kinds of things. Don't worry about what they're doing. They're going to do what they're going to do. You have no control of it. All you can do is control you and how you react to everything. Stay calm. Stay away from them. Don't go there. Don't listen to what they say, because then you give them the opportunity to mess with your head. Don't.
Yeah, I mean, I would say if you think you can convince somebody, and it's someone you love and trust who will trust you, do share what you know or believe to be true about this, to give people an opportunity. But I think your best bet is to learn for yourself. We all have that duty, responsibility to learn what we can and teach others if possible.
Yeah.
But the best way you can help others, it's been said before, is helping yourself first. And
then don't worry about somebody on the other side of the globe. Worry about right in front of you. Okay. It's your 360 degrees around you that matter. If you've got a neighbor that needs help and they're right in your purview and you can help them, help them. If you have a family member that needs help, help them. That's how we do it. If we all did that, everybody would be just fine. It's important. Okay.
Moving along to the next question. Let's see here. This is from Arvo. Why is it that some people have a harder time integrating their ET experience into their conscious mind? I would start by saying that for some people, they have a very rigid belief system. And I've noticed, having interviewed a lot of people, that those who are vehemently skeptical have a real hard time with it. Those who are, diehard religious fundamentalists have a hard time with it. I think it all depends on the person and their ability to absorb new information. There's a measure of intelligence that's not how much you know, but your willingness to change your belief system and accept new knowledge. So that's the kind of person I think who's going to have an easier time with it. So I'm not sure that there's any easy answer to that. What do you think, Dolly?
I don't think that integrating is a good way to describe this. If you know a truth, if you've experienced it, first of all, and you have that kind of truth, there's no integrating it. You just have to deal with how you are going to experience it, how you're going to move forward, how you perceive it, and what you do with that knowledge. All knowledge is usable info to us that we can employ an answer to whatever it is that we're learning. those who have belief systems and are locked in them, you don't fight with that, because belief can be so strong in some people that they will not consider factual information at that point, because they're taught to believe over factual information, and that's deadly to some people's knowledge gathering and understanding, or cognitive understanding of what's going on around them. What you can do for yourself is worry about what you think and how you feel about it and what your perception is. If you stop trying to overthink everybody else and try to turn them to your way of thinking, you'll do better for yourself. Improve yourself first. You can't make other people change. The only person you can help to change is yourself, your system of understanding. And I think that is a better way to see it. Your system of understanding. How do you gather factual information? How do you cognitively come to a conclusion about what it is that you've experienced, seen, touched, felt, and weighed in your mind as real knowledge? And then you employ it, you move it forward, and you go from there. The more people do that, people will go toward a truth without even realizing everybody's going toward that same truth. That's the point. There is no your truth or my truth. There is the truth. And it's at the center of everything. And if you search what the truth really is, you'll wake up one day and realize that there are 80,000 people right there with you, have all made the mark with you, and you all know what the truth is. That's how you work this through. If you're worried about what everybody else is thinking, you're not worried about what you're thinking. And it's more important for you on your path in this life, what you're learning here, you do it through your eyes, through your heart, through your mind. You work at it from your angle. Get to the truth that way.
Yeah. And a lot of people have encounters and have no idea of it and wake up in midlife sometimes that, oh my gosh, I'm a contactee. And this can be when they reach a point of being able to, integrate it into their belief system. Meditation is a great help for this. I'm just going to throw that out there. Okay, firefighter gives another generous donation and gets cuts in line. So what's the deal with dolphins? Lots of controversy going on right now. I know they're super intelligent. What's your insight?
They are really, really smart. They are very sentient beings, and they live in the water. That's their experience. That's what they've learned. That's what they came here to do, to experience life in the oceans, eating fish and watching all of us. They know ETs because they can bloody hear them. They have sonar. They can hear the craft as they're coming down, or they see them when they go in the water to cool off and leave. They're psychic, very psychic. They're highly psychic, and ETs like to chat with them and talk to them. It's like, hey, how you doing? They have a relationship with them. Never doubt for a minute that a highly sentient being, other than you, is capable of talking to ET, and dolphins are highly sentient beings. Your dog is a highly sentient being. He may not have the knowledge base that you do, but he is sentient. He can cry. He can be happy. He can be sad. He can do all kinds of things. He can know when you're coming and going. He knows when you're coming home long before you even get there. Cats are the same way. All animals are sentient beings. It's just the level of their understanding and knowledge. We're all here to do something on this planet, in this place. And yeah, you need to give them the respect they're due. And ET does.
Okay, moving along. We got a lot of questions here, so thank you, you guys. Let's see here. All right, we kind of already answered this, but may as well talk about super soldier whistleblowers. Now, I don't find it credible. My heart goes out to them because I do think that they're often honest people who are trying to understand what happened to them, but I would say it's more along the lines of a my lab than an actual experience. That would be my assessment.
You bet.
So, yeah, it's a very controversial area, and I certainly don't want to offend anybody.
Yeah.
So that's the last thing I want to do, because people are reporting this, and they seem to be honest people. Some of them, I think some of them might not be so honest, but no, you can't go back in time and reverse age somebody. This is not going to work. No matter how advanced ETs might be, I've never heard of them being able to do that.
We live in the arrow of time. In other words, the third dimension is a space where we're at, where time only goes in one direction. And you can only live in the moment. You actually only experience it moment to moment to moment to moment. Right now, we're in this moment. We can't project ourselves forward or backward. There's nothing back there anymore. It doesn't exist anymore. And that's the arrow of time. The third dimension is very gravity heavy. When I say that, it's all your molecules, all the light that you really are so densely packed together that you can't even perceive it, because you're meant to be here in a physical realm where you learn here. You're locked into it. This is your classroom. You're not getting out until you leave this body. And that's the way it is. If you go outside of dimensional space, outside of the third dimension up into higher dimensional space, then it changes and space time discontinues and you lose gravity and you lose everything, changes and your perception changes. But right now you're here and this is what you have, and you can't go forward and you can't go back, not without leaving the dimension. ET can do that. That's how they travel. But they don't go back in time and actually go into the third dimension. They would die if they did it. They brought me back into a time, but I wasn't fully in the third dimension there. I was in the fourth dimension. They could see me. They made it so that I was seen, and that's it. I couldn't experience it as if I was really there. I was extra dimensional at that time, and it was weird. But if they had brought me through into the third dimension, I would cease to exist, because there is no time back there in the third dimension. It's a locked system. It is a physical locked system. Physics does explain this. Physicists know this to be true, and yet they let everybody theorize and say crazy stuff. It's not okay.
Okay. All right. Let me see. This one I would like to get a chance at. This is from Boogertish. Question. Anyone, do we have any research on what is common between all people who claim they had contact, or the reasons totally unclear, random from our point of view? So yeah, are there patterns between people who have contact? Is it random from our point of view? There are patterns. I want to preface this by saying that I think everyone's given the opportunity, that ETs are aware of everybody and have reached out to a lot of people, but we certainly know at least 3 or 4 prominent patterns. One is that this is generational. They do seem to follow certain family lines. They're very interested in upholding the genetics of certain family lines. That does seem to be a pattern. It's evenly divided between men and women. It's all over the world. There are absolutely random aspects of an opportunistic onboard experience where someone's driving down a highway and they're like, here's a good chance to pick someone up. That's a pattern there, absolutely. Another, I would say, because I found this out when I did my research into UFO healing cases. I asked this lady from Norway why she, thought she had been healed of back problems. I'm going through all the questions. She had no history of encounters. She wasn't fitting the pattern. And then I asked her what she did for a living. She says, well, I'm an animal and human rights activist. That rang a bell for me, because I started to realize, oh my gosh, I've interviewed a number of people who are social workers or environmentalists or animal and human rights activists, or who are doing good work for humanity in some capacity. So we see nurses and doctors. We see philanthropists, artists, musicians, people who are doing good work for humanity in any level. I think that is a pattern, absolutely. Rh negative blood type, to some degree. I don't think it's a super prominent pattern, but it does turn up. So one more, and I'll let you address this, Dolly. People who are spiritually evolved, profoundly psychic. The ETs are able to reach out to them quite easily, I think. That's why they're like, okay, here's someone who is prepared to get our message, and we can work with them. Because contactees, almost as a rule, are profoundly psychic. So yeah, people who are doing good work for humanity, people who are in families who they've been following for a long time, and yeah, people who are profoundly psychic, and sometimes just driving alone on a highway late at night in a remote area. They're like, here's someone we can pick up with no problem. What do you think, Dolly?
Absolutely. I agree. You don't have to have a negative blood type to be picked on by them. You can have a family that has negative blood types in it that you're related to. You come down the line, like, here's a mom with O positive, okay, and then there's a dad with A negative. Half the kids got O positive, and the other half have A neg. Okay, it doesn't mean that they all don't have the genetics for the neg. They do. They're carrying those genetics, and they know that. And so you have to look at the total picture of humanity, and there's more negative relationship for us. When I mention non-Anunnaki blood, I'm not kidding you. The negative is everywhere. If you don't have negative blood, it doesn't mean you don't have it in your genetics. That's a serious thing. And if you're trying to point at only people with negative blood, forget it. Everybody's got that gene in them. And it's important that you understand that we're all interesting to their purpose, and their purpose is to watch over us, make sure we're healthy while we're going through this phase right now. They hold humanity up. Our DNA have been degrading because of all the gamma radiation that we have coming in, and they're worried about us. That's it, period, the end. Okay.
All right. We're going to try and get through these next questions as quickly as we can. Grassy Knoll. Hey, guys. How do you see Bigfoot fitting into the paranormal UFO? Bigfoot is a sentient being who's lived on our planet for a very long time, and some are contactees in the same exact way a human would be. That's my assessment, why sometimes people see Bigfoot next to a UFO or coming in or out of one.
Yeah. I think they're a little bit more psychically developed than we are. And if they don't want you to see them, you're not going to, period.
Yeah, 100%, because people, they've turned invisible. People have actually seen that, which, by the way, humans have the ability to do it. One day I'm going to write about that. Okay, this is from Rune. I can't even pronounce that, Dolly. Rune and Cider.
Interesting.
Question: do you think there's a connection between paranormal phenomena such as ghosts or spirits and the interdimensional hypothesis in ufology? Oh, I want to answer this.
Okay.
Are ETs interdimensional? Sure. You are.
Yep.
You're interdimensional. All entities are interdimensional. When you go to the other side, you will see trees there. They're interdimensional trees. So I'm not sure labeling something as interdimensional is super helpful, because I think we all are. Is there a connection between paranormal phenomena like ghosts or spirits? How does that connect to interdimensionality? Well, ghosts and spirits are interdimensional. And when a person has contact, this ramps up their abilities. So you will see people who have contact will come back and start having poltergeist activity, or blowing out light bulbs, or seeing ghosts, or having astral projection. This, I think, is the connection.
I want to give it to you like this, okay? This is real easy. I'm going to use this, okay? Hi, Carnation. Okay, This is the universe, the whole thing, this can. Inside this can are 12 dimensions. Seriously, 12 dimensions, okay? We all live in here with everything and everybody else, all of us. You're in the third dimension right now, but you didn't come from the third dimension. You're only here now. This is your niche. This is your ecological place that you're existing right now in your niche in the third dimension. You are an extra dimensional being because you come from source. In the universe, you're in the center of it where all light really is, and you're in with the all mind in there, okay? But you project out to come into this classroom in the third dimension. Don't separate yourself from everybody, and don't worry about what dimension you're in right now. You're in the third. Okay. Why are you here? You're learning what you need to know here. Are you in with every other dimension? You bet yeah, you are an extra dimensional being existing in a classroom, in a niche, in your ecological place in the third dimension right now, doing what you got to do. When you get rid of this body, you're out. You're already extra dimensional at that point. So when you leave here, do you become a ghost? If you want to use the word ghost, that's fine. You're an entity that has now released the body. That's what you are. You're pure energy, you're pure light, and you're going to go back to source. Or you could be confused and hang around here until you get the message that, oh, I need to go back, okay? All the way back. So yeah, you can see entities walking around on this planet that we're living here in this flesh pod. Yep. Do ET do the same thing? You betcha. They are just the same as us. They're wearing flesh too in the third dimension, and they have to go through the same stuff that we do in their niche, in their ecological niche, that their living room, in their living in their classroom. That's all this all is. It's not hard to figure out.
All right, let's move
Okay.
on. I'm
All
going to
right.
just pop this one up real
Right.
quick and
Right.
answer this myself. What are your thoughts on the alien interview with Matilda O'Donnell McElroy? Read the book. I would recommend it. It's a good book. I believe it's fictional, honestly. I believe Lawrence Spencer at one point admitted to this. Most researchers do not think it is nonfiction, but it is a really good book and worth reading. I was actually riveted. It had a really good ending. But no, I don't think that she was there. Donald Schmidt, we had him on the show. He's like, no. So that's my answer to that. Okay, let's see here. We just answered that one. So can I ask, how important is our imagination and why?
Imagination is good for three things, very specific things. For you to evolve, for you to become more than you are, you have to see yourself doing that first. And it takes an imaginative mind to go there. So you pick where you want to go in your mind. You see yourself there and you imagine what it would be like for you to be there. And then you visualize or you intend a path to get there. That's the first thing imagination is good for. Imagination is also good when you're in pain, because imagination can take you into your memory and take you back to where you're not in pain with whatever it is that you're in pain about, and experience it so that you can work through that pain and get to the other side of it. Imagination can bring your memory up in space. Most people with eidetic memories have visual eidetic memories. Mine is visual. Numbers, I have synesthesia is why I see numbers as colors. But all I have to do when I'm in agony about something or I'm trying to work something through is my imagination or my memory, which is your imagination, will take you back to it so that you can work your way from the beginning to the end of it. It consoles you. Your imagination can hold you up and lift you up. When you meditate, this is the third point of imagination, and it's the most difficult one for you to get to, and I'm going to try really hard to explain it.
Quickly, though, because we got 10 minutes.
You have to imagine that your body is letting go of everything. You have to imagine letting go. Buddha tried to teach this. He said, put everything, all your problems, everything about your life, all of it in the palm of your hand and curl your fist up. He said, turn your hand over and let it go. It takes imagination to do that. When you use imagination as a tool to work optically or spiritually or mentally into taking yourself someplace that you need to go to learn, that's a really good thing. Okay? And children do it. It's amazing. They imagine as life is going to be from watching their family, their parents, and people. Okay? They imagine their moms and dads. They imagine their bike riders. They imagine all kinds of things. They have incredible imagination, but they're working the beginning of employing the ability to get to where they're going. Okay? All right.
All right. Yeah. I think imagination gets short shrift. It's very important. A
Yes.
very, very useful tool.
I think y'all have been taught to
Not
go
just your
delusional,
imagination.
not imaginary. Yeah. Delusion is not a good place to go because you start lying to yourself in delusion. Don't do that. Your imagination is a good tool and you should use it every day. Every day. Okay.
Okay. Quickly on this one, Dolly. Do ETs go to elementary school or college? Do they go to school? What do they do for fun?
Okay.
Quickly.
I went to school with ET, and it was kind of weird grade level. Okay. In other words, I was 5 when I started, almost 6, and I went until I was 17. When I was 17, I had already decided what I was going to do when I was 14, and I was already working toward that. A lot of them, it's sort of like, go back to the old times when parents put their children out to go learn to do something. That was the kind of school they did. If you want to be an engineer, you go work with an engineer, and he'll teach you everything he knows. That's the best kind of school there is. The kind of school that we developed is not good because it doesn't give you everything that you need. Living and experiencing is the best school there is, but you need to do it with somebody in the genre of which way you're going to it. I'm going to tell you all a secret. My father was an architect, registered in every state in this union and worked around the world, and he never went to college. Never. He took all the exams and he passed them. He freaked everybody
So
out.
what do ET do for fun or relaxation or vacation?
They go someplace to mentally repair themselves. They take time for themselves. That's the kind of vacations they do. If they're going to do it as a family, they repair as a family. If it's singular, they do it singularly. They love nature. They go into nature. They walk, they swim, they bike. They have bikes. They have animals that they ride. There's all kinds of things like we do in nature that they do as well. They boat, they do all kinds of stuff. Yep.
All right. Are crop circle messages real? Are real crop circles messages? Yes. And how do we decipher them? Barbara Lamb did a whole book on this. There's some people who've really dove deep into this, and some are quite obvious. The Fibonacci one, they do have messages. They are clearly meaningful, and I think they're mostly to just wake people up and get them to think out of the box and consider new ideas. But yeah, they're absolutely real. There are people who absolutely decoded them.
Yes.
Quite a bit of
answers. Yeah. Scientists sent out messages and they got answers on the ground in some of the crop circles. Yep.
Okay. This one's going to curl your toes, Dolly. Yeah. Human data. Do you think ufology is merging with religion? I hope not.
No. One of the things that I told Preston when I first started talking to him is that I am not a guru. I am not a priest. I am not a nun. I am not a religious figure of any kind. I'm not here to deliver a religious message. Don't ask me to. I am just like you. Okay. I do not do that. I'm simply here to deliver a message that I personally have received from ET, and it has nothing to do with religion. What it does have to do with is science, technology, spirituality, in that we need to identify the fact that we are entities outside and inside the body that we're wearing, okay? And then morality, philosophy, music, everything, all of it. We are very, very interesting, complicated beings, and we're here to do whatever we want to do, and we're encouraged to learn everything we can while we're here. And that's what the message is that that's the path we all need to be on. We need to stop fighting, stop arguing, stop thinking we're all different. We're not. We need to stop hating, warring, polluting, all of that. So yeah, I hope I answered that.
All right. Sly Martins is asking, do you have reports or accounts of awe-inspiring architecture on ET home worlds? And Monka S is asking basically the same thing. How's the architecture? How many planets have you seen, and what's the architecture like? We're going into that in Symmetry too. So there is some really interesting architecture. Yeah. I don't know if we could answer that in 1 minute. You want to just give a 30-second?
All bets are off. They can make anything they want to, and they have unbelievable, beautiful things for everybody to see everywhere. Yeah.
Okay.
I hope that helps. Understand that it's all in nature, most of it, okay? In other words, they don't do anything that harms their environments at all. They've evolved to that. They very, very puritanical about their dwelling and where they live and what they eat, drink, and, they don't pollute. And they don't pollute each other either. Important to think about. And yes, they have beautiful architecture. They have beautiful styles. And there are people who will work at that. Engineering, architecture, music, all of it.
All right, I'm going to pop this question up. Preston, my question is, where would you recommend I report my experiences to? I'm at the point in my life where I want to share my story, or at least get it out there and maybe find some answers. My first recommendation is, if your story is extensive, write a book. There are some great researchers out there. You can report it to me if you'd like. I love Linda Zimmerman. I like Earl Gray. He's a really good researcher. Yeah, Barbara Lamb, Yvonne Smith. Do your research, find a researcher you really vibe with. Do write it down, though. I think that's a really good step. And there are all kinds of Facebook groups and support groups on various forms of media. Yeah. MUFON does take UFO reports. It kind of goes right in there and
gather your data as well. Anything that you have that has to do with your story, your experiences, collect all your data and make sure that it's with you when you start talking to somebody about it. Show them, if you have pictures, videos, experienced people who've experienced it with you. You just go down the line and get it all lined up so that when you start spilling or writing, that it's all there at your fingertips. You know?
Okay, I'm going to go through rapid fire for just a few questions.
Okay.
Any contact with light beings from the Pleiades?
No.
Yes to the light beings, no to the Pleiades. Okay.
Not the light beings, no, the Pleiades. Yeah.
Do they shrink people in size? Dolly does have a report of that. Yes.
Yeah. There are people who are very small compared to us, and they have a way of making them bigger.
Are the animal mutilations caused by them, or is it human?
No. That's human.
Okay. Do you think mainstream scientists are holding things back? Yes, I do.
Exactly.
Do they care about us?
Yes.
Deeply. Deeply, deeply. That's one of the main reasons for contact. Do ETs do martial arts?
No.
No?
No. Matter of fact, I started learning karate when I was 5 years old. And no, I was totally swayed away from it. When I was with them, no.
Is the Adam and Eve story true?
No.
Okay. Let's see what else. Oh, here. Gem Rose, you're asking about Dolly's twin sister. We're going to dive deep into that in Symmetry too. We're going to do some episodes on that. Let me see what else there that I can ask real quick. We're kind of out of time, you guys, and I want to, let's see. Is there one?
Close. Yeah.
Oh, Natasha, your house burned down on January 26th.
I'm so sorry.
Do you think my ET friends made sure I woke up? You woke up right before? I think it was you.
Yeah, I think that your brain said, you have a problem, get up. Something's coming. We do warn ourselves. We really do. You have that ability. So, yeah.
Or it could be, your spirit guides and friends. There are people who absolutely watch us about it.
Yep.
My labs. Gosh, we're going to have to do a show on that.
Yeah, let's not talk about it right now. It's expensive and it's not.
One last one.
Right.
When I have my UFO encounters, I will get tones and musical notes on my answering machine. Music does come up. It was in the episode I did recently. Dolly talks about it. I found a case from Amsterdam or somewhere in Europe where the lady heard music. I know another case in Florida. This does come up. Absolutely.
Yep.
Okay, we're going to have to stop it there. Let me give the results of the contest. The book Wondrous. We have 4 winners. Dolly, I'm blaming you for this.
Okay.
Because Archaic Revival, what do I do if I won twice? Well, you won once. Archaic Revival, the number we chose is 714. A couple of you people jumped right up on that and also guessed 714. Philip Emery and L. Pete. So please do send me an email. You can see the email below, and I will get a signed book out to you. If you already have Wondrous, you can choose another. Go to my website, and you can see all the books there. My website is prestondennett.weebly.com. So yeah, congratulations to Archaic Revival, Philip Emery, and L. Pete, who all guessed the exact number, 714. And because we kind of gave that one away a little bit, I put out another number, which turned out to be 694, and our closest guesser was Bob Thorson.
Ooh, cool.
Who guessed 677. So, Bob, awesome that you got that. I know who you are. We've talked. So,
yeah.
Send me an email. Or no, I think I might have send me an email. Either way, that will make it easier for me. Yeah. Don't forget to include your mailing address, guys, and I'll get that book out to you next time I'm at the post office. And congratulations, and thanks for playing along. We're going to do that again.
Yeah.
It's always fun.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the secret number was 714 on the first and 694 on the second. And Bob Thorson, your guess of 677 was the closest.
Yeah.
Those numbers came fast. If any of you out there said, hey, wait, my number was closer, let me know. But I'm pretty sure I got that. At any rate, amazing. What a fun show, you guys. Thank you. Namaste. You guys really delivered tonight, Leah. So much fun. Bob, the winner. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Archaic Revival. I swear, right when I thought that number out psychically, you got it. So good job. And Philip Emery and L. Pete, definitely. Rocco, thank you. Firefighter, amazing. Really appreciate
thank you very
your
much.
generous donations.
Thank you.
Jimmy Mashburn, you guys, thank you so much. That was a lot of fun. I'm sorry we didn't get to all the questions, but we will do another in a month or two and have another giveaway. I'm going to do more of these giveaways.
Yeah.
Critic Revile, I cheated. I read your mind. Yes, you did. I went to if you're that psychically advanced, you can have a book. That's hilarious. All right. Thanks, you guys. Dolly, you want to take us out? Look at all these lovely comments. Oh, you
I
guys
know.
are
Thank you all so much. Thank you all so much. I hope you all had a wonderful holiday today. And I hope you have a wonderful week ahead of you. Spring is springing. That's one of the reasons I love this particular day, because it's like hope immortal, Yay! We are coming to you live from the beautiful city of New Orleans in Louisiana at the United Public Radio Network at 107.7 FM and the UFO Paranormal Radio Network at 105.3 FM. We are on Facebook, we are on Roku, we are on Rumble, and we are on YouTube. I want y'all to have a really, really great week, and I hope everything goes the way you envision it or imagine it to be. Follow your path. That's the best you can do, and us as well. We love you. Mwah. Night, night.